You're a real estate guy, but you're also a farmer.
Yep.
Did farming get you into real estate, or did real estate get you into farming?
Farming got us into real estate. I've been a farmer. My grandparents, my family, both my grandparents had farms. When we were kids, we lived up the road from that, from my grandparents' dairy farm in Iowa. Me and my one brother, not my brother Tim, who's in the dairy business with us or whatever. We'd go down there, fell in love, had a passion for that. That started out, then my uncles took over, and we were lucky, fortunate enough that they allowed us to help them. Some days we were in the road probably, some days we talked too much, all the above. And our uncles were very good at, 3 uncles that did that kind of nurtured us, our passion or whatever. And then it kind of just snowballed from there. And 20 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, now we just bought a dairy. My uncles still have their dairy today. They expanded to 9 robots. About 2 years ago, milked 540 cows there. And then about 10 years ago, my brother, my parents, my uncles, another gentleman from lives by Chicago or whatever, that was Irish, used to milk cows in Ireland. 40 years ago, we bought a dairy, expanded that. Had like 2,000 cows. Now we're up to about 4,000 cows. We genomic test, IVF, and genetically we have a really elite herd that's internationally recognized around the world, known as Genosource. So we did that. That kind of got us going. Worked in the dairy industry for after college, did all that. So I understood how businesses worked, making money. You have revenue, expenses, try to keep your business going, right? So we did that, but I've been very good at math. When I go to a bank, I try to calculate my payment, my monthly payment. Give me the interest, give me the amortization schedule, the loan amount, and I want to have my monthly payment be within $50 or $100. And I can kind of mentally do that in my head.
I can't.
So that's how it all kind of got. We have a big family. I got 40 cousins on one side. I got like 23 on another side, I think, or some number. So family's a big deal to us. Relationships are a big deal to us. My brother Tom, who we have Rauen Real Estate with, he actually prints T-shirts. He has a screen printing embroidery store.
He made these.
1-800 T-shirts. He runs marathons, ultra marathons, 50, 100 miles. I run to the mailbox. I run to the fridge. That's it. That's how we, but he got into real estate maybe 10 years ago now. And I, with dumb luck, I just call it dumb luck, no more, no less. Got into it, and through him a little bit, learning, reading, talking to people, relationships with that. I was able to acquire my first properties, I think about 4.5 years ago. And I bought $4 general stores. I didn't know shit about them. It took me 6 months to pull the trigger. And through learning, asking people's advice or whatever, I'm like, let's do this, right? So, and for me, the real estate, what I know now, I wish I would have knew, 10 years, 20 years ago, whatever, but, they mail you the check and it comes the first of the month and it's $5,200 for rent for this building or whatever it is, right? And in my, in our agriculture farming thing, like 1 month we might get $15 a hundredweight for a milk, and the next month it might be $18, and 1 month it might be $21, and then it might go back to $15. Well, the break even might be $18. So we have no control. Now we have corn and beans, right? Corn 2 years ago they're getting $6, $7 a bushel. Now they're getting $3.50. So the instability of that compared to getting $5,000 for the next 10 years every month, I'm like, that makes sense. I can understand. The bank takes a loan out, you make the margin, and it's good. So, and you get depreciation with it.
I will say, when you said you bought $4 general stores, I was like, I've never heard of a $4 general store. And then I was like, oh wait, $4 general stores.
Well, but so your brother Tom, I know you guys from the boardroom.
Yeah.
1-800 T-shirts. We're all friends. I like to keep it in the family. You guys have invested in some other things. And I think it's very appropriate you're on this show because you're just a real investor. Like you worked hard, you built something that made some money, and then you found ways to invest your money and get your money making money for you.
Yeah. And I don't know. It wasn't really. I mean, we like to make money. We, and try to make it. And sometimes we get. Previously, my parents, I mean, they had different things that they did or whatever, but they were just were focused on, doing their jobs and making money and providing for their family and that. And they did some investments, but they weren't great at investment. Looking back on it, they did whatever, no right, wrong, or indifferent. And how to get into a real estate and that, it was just something it's like the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you should stay in your lane and do what you're good at. Because I see sometimes, even now, people get they try to do, I'm gonna go do this off the wall thing or whatever. And a lot of times it fails. And you go backwards, you don't know what the hell you're doing. And it's not like the 80s or whatever, we'll make it work and this and that and blah, blah. Shit, margins are tight and things are whatever, and things are more expensive now. So if you screw up, you're kind of fucked. Yeah. You ain't coming out of it. Maybe it's 20,000. Well, nothing's 20,000 anymore. Well, it's 200. It's 2 million or whatever it is. So you're screw up. You ain't getting your haircuts. You're done.
Yeah.
So, but it's we got into real estate and different ways that we can put money in to make it safe. And the stock market's kind of good. And I mean, if you got Apple and Microsoft and that, and you buy them and they go up, it looks pretty good. But they all take a shit, and then it goes down, you lose 20%, and then it pisses you off, and you're like, yeah, I don't. And then that ain't that fun, because then if you really want to do, you got to trade them in and out, and it takes a lot of time, and Wall Street they're beating your ass, and they're a lot smarter, so they're just making money off the, dumb people in society because they don't know any better. And people make mistakes when they don't have all the tools at their disposal to be educated, right? So we got in that. Now we're doing some debt fund things and partner. Most of the things I do, I put my own money in. I'm not going to ask you to go put money in a real estate thing if I ain't putting my own skin in it. So I think that gives investors confidence that we have. A lot of it's just friends and family. We have diversified out and got more. I think our thing now is the average person doesn't know that a Dollar General, a Starbucks, an Arby's, a Staples are all owned by people, like all of us. They think they're owned by the companies themselves, and the companies themselves own less than 10% of their buildings throughout the U.S. So they're all leased from that standpoint. So trying to educate people about that, and then the biggest, people have money they don't know what to do with. And so I try to research a lot and be like, hey, if I was gonna, you guys have some money, this way you should do, this is a pretty safe thing, right? I don't want people to lose money. I feel bad, right? Because I treat it like my own money. Especially the first time they do it. If they make money the first time, it's like fishing. It's like shooting deer hunting. You go to a deer stand, you hammer a 12-point buck out, you're gonna go back to that deer stand for a long, long time, even though you might not see a deer for a decade. But you had a good first experience, you're not going back there.